Now these pieces of steel angle, you need to go to a sheet metal worker. I've given it a 3mm drop in the lip so that the trough can slide through like that. Now you can point down, now I'm making these slots for the beetle pest to fall through when this trough has got some poison in it, and that's underneath there and it's upside down. That's how we protect the hive from the beetle pest. Where the beetles are going to fall through, but those slots are not quite wide enough, so we give it a go and give it a little bit of a help to make them a little bit wider, and I'll just make each one a little bit wider. There we are. Hello. Yeah, Martin, you didn't go deep enough there, mate. Alright. That one's done. Alright. There we have those slots already. Thank you. We've got to make sure that they're firmly screwed down like that at the base. Well, I get another screw here. There we are. I just firmly screw this in. You know, when you get old and senile like me, you gotta put plenty of pressure on it. There, see? Now that's ready. Yeah. That's how we do it. And as you can see, if any of the screws come through, we'll take them off with the angle grinder. Here where I'm pointing, as you can see down here where I'm pointing with my hand, that's the entry for the bees to come into the box. Then these are the frames. We make these frames, you can buy the kit, and then we can buy those wax foundations. And with the wire there, we just connect a positive and a negative off the battery, and that will warm up those wires, and then you can gently push the wax onto the wires so that it sits there, and it's from that that the bees will make their foundation. And as you can see, that just hangs in there. If you come in here now with the camera, that just hangs in there, and altogether we can fit 10 frames in there, and bit by bit the bees are going to fill up this foundation here. As you can see, I'm holding a little bit of wax in my hand, and the bees will make the wax on that foundation, fill it up with honey, and if this is a brood box that we're going to use as a brood box, they will put eggs in there that will become a little cell, and they'll feed that cell, and that'll become another working bee. So that's how it happens. This is the beginning of what we call a brood box. After the brood box is running smoothly and it's full of bees, then we put a second box called a super on top of this, and we put a separator in there to stop the queen from coming up at the top, because the queen is twice the size of an ordinary bee, and we have a separator made of holes just allowing the little worker bees to come through and not the queen. This provides an environment down here for the queen to stay down here, laying plenty of eggs, making more worker bees, and building up the hive. Thanks, Martin. First of all, it's made out of galvanised iron tin, and we bent that over, and we painted inside and out, because don't forget this hive is out in all kinds of weather. And as you'll see here, we've got air vents there and air vents there. That is for the bees to be able to air condition the right temperature in their hive. That just goes on the top like that. As you can see, there is a vent to stop the bees from coming in and out, but that allows the flow of air in both ends. That just sits on the top there. And eventually, after a few weeks, they'll actually seal that down with propolis. You've all heard of propolis.
Glue.
Now, also, there's that little entry that we've arranged there for the bees to go in the front. And as you can see, there's the 3x2s down the bottom to keep it up from the slide that we're going to be able to pull that out. That's how we pull that out, and we can maintain the beehive, make sure with a little bit of poison in there, and that's where we're going to trap the beetle pest. Have you got any other comments to make on this, Martin?
No, yeah, I got it fully covered.
The colour, of course, is to repel the heat, because they've got to have the right temperature, and they will maintain that. The other thing, of course, Martin, you were saying that there's no good if this is tilted up like that, because the rain will, what did you say?
Come in.
And?
Yeah, no, you don't want it there.
So this has got to be level.
So that was a sucking question.
Well, there you are. That's the way we put together a beehive. When we put the frames in there, like I told you, that is now ready to start off a brood box. When you've got the brood box filled up and the queen bee is laying lots of eggs, then we put a super on top, and we can produce enough honey. You know, one of these beehives with a super or two supers on top can probably, at today's value, can probably be worth between 10 and 14, $1,200 to $1,400 a year you can get out of one beehive if you maintain them and look after them properly. Is that right? Would you agree with that?
Whatever you say, mate. You're the expert.
Well, that's today's value, and I think that's going to increase because the bees throughout the world have nearly become extinct because of the H.A.A.R.P, the H.A.A.R.P. I want you to Google that, look up H.A.A.R.P and chemtrails, and if you want to know why the bees are disappearing all over the earth, that is the reason. You'll find heaps of information explaining to you why the beehive. I'll just add one little thing to it. A little bee has magnetite cells in its brain, and those magnetite cells tap into the electromagnetic field of the earth. So when they go away for 1 or 2 or 3 kilometres and pick up the pollen, they need that navigational skill to come back home. If the H.A.A.R.P has blown holes in the ionosphere, destroying that electromagnetic field, they drop dead because they just get exhausted and they can't find home. And that is why lots of beehives are collapsing. They'll call it collapsing, or what do they call it?
GM and GE.
Yeah.
Genetically modified.
No. Well, genetically modified is a problem too. They'll call it colony collapse disorder. And it's not the colony collapse disorder. We're talking about the chemicals, and we're talking about H.A.A.R.P and chemtrails, which is causing the bees throughout the world to disappear. There we are.
Over and out.
One more thing that I better tell you if you're going to make up your own beehive. This tin, being the top of the hive, is going to get pretty hot. So I'm going to cut out that little bit of ply, and I'm going to glue that in there to insulate the top so that it won't create too much heat for the bees inside the top of the hive. I'm just holding a tin of self-adhesive spray, and I'll give this a good coating inside the top of the beehive. I'm giving it a good coating of self-adhesive spray. I've already sprayed the top part, and now I'll give this a good coating, and there we are. I've already sprayed the top part, and I'll just put that into the top and hold that down there for a few minutes. I can put something on it to hold it there, and that is going to insulate the hive from the hot sun under that hot tin roof. Finished. Now what we're doing here with the beehive, we're going to rob these bees, and my mate Martin here, he's taking out the frames, and as you can see that frame has got a lot of honey in it. We're going to put that into the spinner and get the honey out of it, and then he can clean up the box and put it all back together again for me. I might add, people will tell you the bees are dangerous. As you can see, both of us are standing here. We're not getting stung, and the bees are not going to worry you if you find a good place in the back of your garden to put your beehive.